Death Note is a series most well known for its moments. The show is so brilliant at build-up and payoff that the show almost makes it seem effortless. This is why the show remains memorable for many years even after its initial release. Alongside the brilliantly depthy characters and crazy scenarios, these scenes combine to create a show that is unforgettable and impossible to put down. Even rewatching this episode for the video gave me an unending urge to rewatch this show again. And since I'm the Death Note guy on YouTube, I think it's time to pay respects to the most memorable and memeable scene in the entire series. So, let's talk about episode 8, or more specifically, the potato chip episode. This episode takes place just after the killing of both the detective following Light and his fiancée, Naomi. At this point in the story, L's begun narrowing his list of suspects down and has now set his sights on the Yagami household. Though he states that there's only a 5% chance that the house contains Kira, it's unlikely that he thought the chances were that low. Regardless, this episode is of note due to the setup alone. You see, one of the main things this show is known for is its constant 4D chess game that the main characters Light and L are playing with each other. Later in the series, stuff goes nuts, with each of them taking drastic moves in an effort to attain the upper hand on their opponent. As of episode 8, however, this dynamic has yet to have had any resistance from Light's side at all. Think about it for a moment. L starts the game by broadcasting a criminal on death row posing as himself. When Light cracks under the pressure, L already gains the upper hand on the first move, now already knowing the country that Kira happens to reside in. Every event afterwards, from killing off the detective to the Death Note testing to the offing of Naomi, has all been Light barely managing to keep up with L. In fact, it's gotten so bad that by this point L's narrowed down his list quite a bit. Light has been on the defensive, being barely able to do anything to challenge L up to this point. This is the episode where that changes. Before this, however, L manages to place cameras around the entire house. Now, any normal person would never notice this, but the show decides to show that Light is still keeping up with, or even several steps ahead of L. The doorknob and lead in the door are details most would never think of. Even better is the fake piece of paper placed in the door, which gives the illusion of a lack of intelligence. Also, by having several adult magazines already hidden, it also gives him a look of innocence from the beginning. Remember, L's not the only one that Light's trying to convince. He's also trying to convince everyone that he's not Kira. An even cooler touch is how he uses Ryuk. At the start of the episode, they immediately showcase that Ryuk is of little to no help, as he has nothing to gain from helping Light. By bribing him with apples, which Ryuk has become pretty much addicted to by this point, he's able to manipulate a literal death god to do his bidding. All of this would mean nothing, however, if it weren't for the crowning moment of this episode. Yes, you know what we're getting to, so how about we talk about some potato chips? Now, just consider the entirety of this series thus far. Light has been at a disadvantage the entire time. While L's been able to make some good moves towards finding Kira, Light's been playing keep up. And now that Light's been put into a situation where he'd normally be screwed, the viewer has to wonder how he's going to get out of it. I mean, sure, he's got murders lined up for weeks, but he needs to do something to prove that he's not Kira. After nonchalantly grabbing a potato chip bag, he heads upstairs. After monologuing for a bit, we finally get to the signature scene. As Light looks into the potato chip bag with a sinister face, the track Low of Solipsum begins playing. The final test is set up, and the viewer is left to wonder exactly what's going on. The scenes begin building in intensity, in the same exaggerated style that the series uses for several key scenes. This style is used to showcase subtle actions in a crazy way. It makes even the most minute details look insane, which is part of the reason why the series feels so action-packed despite lacking action in the general sense. As the music gets more fierce, we see Ryuk reacting to his withdrawal symptoms, which is an easy way to build intensity without the actual showcase of Light himself. The music is still building up as we near the quintessential scene, and just to make sure the line has the biggest impact, it's said just right in sync with the music, with as much ferocity as possible. All of this build-up through the episode in combination with Light's build-up and the music's build-up make for an almost perfect scene.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
It's not just Light's emphasis on the phrase. It's not just the fact that he's yelling about taking a potato chip and eating it. It's not just the music, and it's not just the episode's build up to the scene. Everything that's led up to this point not only makes for a funny phrase, but for the first turning point in this 4D chess match. This is the first time where Light has managed to outsmart L and take the win in this situation. After 7 episodes of struggling to deal with L's attacks, Light finally pushes back in the most enthralling and exciting way. Death Note is amazing because of these kinds of scenes. Its ability to play with the viewer's expectations and emotions in such an exciting way makes it almost unparalleled in this regard. There are very few series that can manage to do this even once, and this one manages to do it in almost every episode. So sure, the potato chip scene is funny to laugh about, but just remember, this scene was much more than just a funny joke. All of the effort that was put into making such a simple action into an enthralling scene paid off in spades, and started the real battle in the series. All it took was one potato chip for Light to get the upper hand. Maybe L should have dropped the ice cream and gotten some chips, am I right? And hey, if you enjoyed this video, why not check out some other stuff, or subscribe, I don't know what you want to do. And hey, I'm going to be putting out a video on Sunday. It's a parasite theory, because I need to put out another theory. So I hope you look forward to that, and there's not really much else to say besides, see you later.